And welcome to the regularly scheduled City Commission meeting for February 25th, 2025. If you would, please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can we have a call for attendance, please?
Commissioner Hargis.
Present.
Commissioner Thomas.
Here.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Here.
Commissioner Witt.
Here.
Mayor Staten.
Here. I want to ask a favor of someone on the bench, and that's Buzzy. If you would, can you walk with me down to the podium just for a second, please?
I can.
Miss Jessa has something she'd like to read, and then I'd like to say it.
Which way?
We got to stand this way so the camera will get you.
Whereas it is the intent of the City of Henderson Mayor and Board of Commissioners to focus attention on noteworthy occasions and individuals, and whereas Buzzy Newman has dedicated himself to mentoring and shaping the careers of countless employees of the City of Henderson during his 17 years of service, and whereas Buzzy Newman has facilitated a team atmosphere for employees of the City of Henderson, which has played an integral role in creating and sustaining unique partnerships between departments and enabled the City of Henderson to thrive as a result. And whereas throughout his career, Buzzy has overseen numerous community projects that continue to make significant impact today, such as the Riverfront Development Project, securing Pratt Paper's location in Henderson, the introduction of a new housing development, and whereas Buzzy has ensured the continued well-being of the city by establishing succession plans for key positions in order to recruit skilled and ambitious individuals with the community's best interest in mind. And whereas while it is impossible to fully encapsulate Buzzy Newman's contributions to our community, we are grateful for his time as city manager, we are thankful for his service, and we are happy to have this opportunity to honor him. Now, therefore, Brad Staten, Mayor of the City of Henderson, Kentucky, on behalf of all citizens throughout our community, does hereby honor and salute William L. Buzzy Newman for his service and commitment to our citizens and accomplishments in helping to make our community the best it can be.
So, this is the first time I've ever shed a tear while at a meeting before, but this is, of course, Buzzy's nameplate. He has been a part of the City of Henderson for years. In a number of different ways, even before he started working with the city. And you're my favorite city manager I've ever worked with as mayor, which you're the only one of that. But even if there were more than one, you would be it. You've been a father figure to a lot of people, and you've been a mentor to me. You've been a mentor to a lot of people at this city, and I cannot express in words adequately enough just how much you mean to us. Today is Buzzy's last meeting officially, assuming, and I'm making an assumption that the City Commission might vote a certain way later on, but assuming that vote goes okay, today is going to be the last meeting that Buzzy is going to be serving as our official city manager. He is going to be holding on as the assistant city manager, though, for a time to be determined. But because this is his last meeting as city manager, we saw fit to honor him at the very beginning. Please accept your nameplate and a hearty thank you from me.
Thanks all of you. I want to thank each of the Board of Commissioners for their full support over the years. Kelsey, we've not been together but about 2 months now, but thank you. It's been a great run. It's been a very positive and rewarding experience. And I have got to work with a lot of great elected officials, a lot of great staff, everywhere from the department heads down to people that work in the field. I want to say that it was a great experience the year that I did leave to work for the water utility. I gained a lot of insight as to how they operate. And there are a lot of people in this room that I've worked with through partnerships, and I just want to thank all of y'all for that too. But I guess the one thing I cannot forget to say is my wife. Thank you. Thank y'all. Have a good place for this at home. The garage, that's the only place I can. Thank you, Cindy.
Sure.
I'll be remiss if I didn't say something. Me and Buzzy has worked together for years, and I want to apologize to his wife because I know a couple times he wanted to retire, and I was telling him, hold on. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But what Henderson is Buzzy Newman. The last, 10 years since you've been in city manager position?
Oh, I don't know.
This, when you look at Henderson and you look at our succession plan, this is Buzzy Newman. And I thank you for all the service and your family.
Thank you very much. Thank all of y'all.
I want to say something too. In my lifetime, the two most important people to the city of Henderson share the same last name. Your dad was probably the most influential person in my lifetime.
That's
for
right.
this city. And you're number two. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you, Rodney.
You know, Buzzy, you help everyone you come across, even before I was in this position, and your contributions to Henderson are incredible. You know, your heart beats for this city, and we all thank you for it because it doesn't go unnoticed.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I would echo everything they said. I've enjoyed my 2+ years working with you and knowing you a little bit before that as well. You know, I know you do a lot of work behind the scenes that I don't think a lot of people really understand. You know, I think a lot of people, maybe not, you know, you run in the city, right? A lot of people, I think, you know, at times get different viewpoints, but I think as I've gotten to know you well, I see your compassion for people in this community and how much you care. I think back it was last fall, we were at Rookies, you didn't pay me for this promotion, sorry, I didn't think about that. And we were sitting there, my family came in, and Buzzy came in and just started talking to us, and joked around with our kids for a while, and walked off. My wife was like, who was that? I was like, that's the city manager. She was like, really? He was a really nice guy. And so I feel like a lot of people have that perception of you in the community, and that goes beyond just what you've done in terms of, you know, the technical skills in terms of advancing our community and this success we've had, but also just, you know, the way you've handled yourself in the community and how you've responded to adversity at times, but also have helped in our success as well. So I appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
You're welcome.
Again, thank y'all very much.
So everything has a cycle, including life and employment. And so we are going to go from the retirement of someone very special to the hiring of some special people. And Buzzy, you want to take over the recognition of new employees, sir?
Actually, today we had two scheduled, but they were not able to attend, so we will pass on to another
Well,
retirement.
there we go. There we go. And we do, yeah, we have another retirement to handle. So if you want to take that away, if I could ask Tammy Willett to join me at the podium.
Tammy began her career with the city on July 31st of 1998 as a community development specialist, a position she has held since her very first day with the city. Before joining the city, she spent 6 years working at the private consulting firm John S. Talbert and Associates. During this time, she worked closely with John Talbert and traveled across the western part of the state, helping administer various CDBG housing and public facility grants. In 1998, both Tammy and Mr. Talbert transitioned to roles with the city. Throughout her time with the city, Tammy has actively contributed to several important committees and initiatives, including the Henderson Bicycle Committee, the Henderson Homeless Coalition, and Junior Achievement. She has played a key role managing riverfront development, TEA 21 grants, downtown TEA 21 grants, CDBG and home grants, and Affordable Housing Trust Fund grants. Additionally, Tammy has completed numerous certification courses in CDBG. Tammy is deeply committed to helping those in need and has been a driving force behind the World Changers Kentucky Changers program for the past 20 years. She is passionate about providing daily support to individuals facing challenges related to homelessness, mental health, and housing. Tammy also served as a housing counselor for the Housing Foundation. With years of experience in her role as community development specialist, Tammy has gained a wealth of knowledge and expertise that has made a lasting impact in her field. As she enters retirement, Tammy is excited to spend more time with her 2 daughters, 5 grandchildren, and her husband, Joe Speaks. She is honoring a promise made to her late father to care for her mother during this time, especially as her mom's health has become a priority. This has contributed to Tammy's decision to retire at this time. Tammy, we sincerely appreciate your dedication and hard work throughout your years of service to the city. It is with great pleasure that we present you with this beautiful retirement watch, and we hope you thoroughly enjoy this next chapter of your life.
So it is my honor on behalf of the city of Henderson to present you with your watch.
Thank you very
And to, speaking of people who are going to leave big holes in the city, your accomplishments to the city are very well appreciated by everybody. We're going to miss you. And you're going to get something that Buzzy, I don't know if you've ever received one of these or not, but a very blue and very comfortable City of Henderson
Right.
throw blanket is yours to keep
Thank you.
in appreciation of this.
Thank
If you'd like to say a few
you.
words, you are more than welcome to address the commission if you'd like.
Well, I would. As I'm elated to be up here to say it's here, I'm retiring, I'm also saddened in a big way. I'm leaving behind family, friends, co-workers, nonprofits that I've worked with over the last 26 plus years, Homeless Coalition, to say the least, Melissa Collier, who has taken a big load off of my office. It's been wonderful. The clients that I've served, the numerous thank you cards, everything that I get from the community, they're going to really, I have a new person that's stepping in, so hopefully she can fulfill some of those homeowners' dreams. And, but I look forward to seeing the city grow and prosper, and it's been a good ride, great memories, and it's been the best.
Speaking of Ms. Collier, next up on the report is we have a Homeless Coalition report.
Hello. All of you have one of these in front of you. I do apologize. I did not email this to the right person, but PowerPoint's not super important. We're just going to kind of use it to read from. So I do apologize to you guys out there. I'll just kind of paraphrase what's in it. And, we want to say a huge thank you to Tammy as well. I personally, when I started Habitat 10 years ago, Tammy took me on my very first house tour and shared my very first house plan with me, which we still build at Habitat today. And I know exactly where that house is and the exact day we went. And all the pitfalls that Tammy told me I would run into, and she was right about everything. So we will really miss you, but we have your number too. So we'll tell you when the next coalition meeting is. But we do appreciate you guys letting us come today. This is Jessica. Jessica is our AmeriCorps member at the Homeless Coalition. At the Daniel Patino Henderson office, and you guys know Melissa. Melissa's our case manager. And so we're just going to give you guys a brief second quarter overview of the Homeless Coalition. So we did put a thank you in there. We could not do this without the support of the city and the county. We did go to fiscal court this morning and present to them. You'll see on the next page that there's a total of clients to date is 374. That number was as of last week, so that number has risen. That number constantly rises. Any number that we give you today, there's no duplication. So that's 374 separate clients. So when we tell you that someone on these next pages has requested, utility assistance or rental assistance, there's not a duplication ever of a client twice. Once they come into Melissa's office and start a client file, we would never give you their number twice. That's a question that's been asked of us. So 374 were the amount of clients who had went through about the 400 square foot office that was so graciously given to us for its use by Bobby Jarrett and the Henderson Housing Authority. So if you'll turn to the next page, we won't go through those July to September. Those are just so you guys can see those to compare, especially Kelsey, since you weren't here the last time that we brought in, we just wanted you to kind of have those numbers so you could kind of see those. October to January, homeless, we had 98 people. At risk, 113 people. And staying with family or friends at risk was 54. And the reason that we put those separately, that at risk of 113 people, that's 54 more people after that 113. That 54 is not counted into that 113.
Why did it jump so much from 31 to 113?
The July through September. Our belief of that is because as these two ladies have been able to get out, we've gotten a lot more people to trust us. We knew that our numbers were low, probably.
Reaching more people.
Yeah, because at this time last year and even through about the middle of July, we were a completely volunteer organization. These ladies have got a lot of people to trust them, tell them more. They know where to find people. And so that was another question that was asked of us recently. That's where that number has increased a little bit. And the 54, that's people that just tell Melissa, like, hey, I can stay with a family or a friend, but it's not a long-term solution for me. You know, I might be sleeping on a different couch every night, or my family or my friend might have said I can only stay 3 weeks, and then I've got to move out.
I think
So-
the number also jumped too because of the collaboration with other partners in the community that refer people to us.
And one group that we don't want to forget that they are working with a lot is the Family Resource Center. That was brought up this morning, and these ladies work at the Family Resource Center, both shelters, Salvation Army, and city police, sheriff's department, all those as well. Every time I name a person, they say they've met with them. I'm not sure how they do it, but so the permanent housing, Melissa and Jessica were able to get 7 families into permanent housing between October 2024 and January 2025. And that's 11 adults and 13 children is what was included in those 7 families. Rental assistance, they had 108 people come to their office and request just rental assistance. 11 people could be assisted with about $11,500. 34 people could not be assisted, and that equated to about another $11,000. And do you want to explain a couple reasons for that assistance?
The difference in the numbers from July to September, when we first opened the office, we had COVID money that was paying deposit and 3 months rent for individuals. So that's why the number is such a high number up here. And then in October through January, we just focused on evictions and keeping people in their homes.
And a lot of that July through September money, that was the money that we told you guys that Harry, that runs the Patino shelter, was able to bring over to our county and some other grad areas that he had applied for through the federal government. And October through January, some of that money for those 11 people, that's still coming from money that Harry has applied for. So we are so thankful to Patino Shelter and their partnership, because anytime he can, Harry applies to the entire grad area and then tries to kind of split that money through some other counties besides Owensboro, where he's located. The utility assistance, 21 people requested utility assistance. We were only able to assist one for $130. 20 people could not be assisted for about $9,600 is what was left of that. And if Melissa wants to explain that, because a partnership did help with some of that.
Yeah. So the one person that was assisted with utilities, she was someone that we helped house. It was her utility deposit. And the other 20, we try to filter those out to Audubon area since they had the crisis programs going.
And Audubon area is the holder of LIHEAP, which is federal money. They're the agency that filters through, so they try to pair with us, and they usually have a representative, if not multiple representatives, at every coalition meeting that we have. They've been wonderful partners. In October, beyond everything else these ladies were doing, some other miscellaneous things that they did between October to January, if you go to that following page, is they referred one person to substance abuse housing. And she said it's actually 2 as of us standing here today. And at the very end, we get to share Buzzy. If I we have a very special story to share that I know will touch Buzzy's heart as well. Referred to mental health is 3. Referred for job training was 4. Referred to DV shelter, which is domestic violence shelter, was 1. GED training was 1. And the GED training and the job training, that's a partnership that they do through Voc Rehab and through the community college. And we're able to get people back and forth through some bus tokens that were donated to us through a grant that the Lions Club gave us last year. So we want to say a huge thank you to them because those are helping us get people back and forth on the Heart Bus system. Melissa and Jessica referred 5 people to Welcome House. Welcome House is in Davis County, but they are pairing with us. Both ladies also went with Chief Bolin over to the Evansville Rescue Mission recently because they have been in conversations with us about people in Henderson if they can help with them if our shelters are full as well. They helped 14 people obtain birth certificates. I know that doesn't seem like a big deal, but you can't get any benefits if you don't have your birth certificate. I will tell you, a lot of states don't do them for free. That was not something we were expecting, so our group of people just got together and we've tried to raise the money that we can for the birth certificates. So 14 of those were requested in those couple of months, and they helped 15 people obtain ID cards. Some of those we were able to get for free. Some of those we were not able to get for free due to certain things that those people already had. The way that law works, some are free and some are not. So if you look at the next page, the unsheltered count, one thing that we do is the K count. Every state does it. It's the last Wednesday in January. Ours is called the K count because we're the state of Kentucky. And the unsheltered count, if you look at the winter count, in 2024, you'll see that we had 34 people. Melissa and Jessica, along with Shannon, who I know is here from the library. Shannon and her staff have been wonderful. Melissa did a lunch this year, and we were able to get 38 people to come to the library and give us reports. We were only able to find 34 last year when we were boots on the ground. And I'm looking at Dawn because Dawn has been my driver and my boots on the ground. I have seen Dawn climb down riverbanks. I have seen her go through trees. And so we were so thankful for these ladies this year because 38 of those 98 reports, those were at the library alone. So we had more people come to us at the library to get a meal and give us a report than we found total last year. The remainder of those 98 were these 2 ladies went out and found the rest of their clients. They knew maybe were not at the lunch. They knew where they were that day. And also we want to thank Mr. Kenny and Jill over here because they always coordinate us to go around the entire county. We do the city and the county. So Kenny coordinated those of us that drove and told us kind of where to go, places he had heard and things like that. So we check everywhere. I've been many places in Henderson I didn't even know existed. The summer and the fall count, we won't read those numbers, but we haven't done our summer fall count just yet because 2025 hasn't happened yet. You can see those 3 reasons why people say that they are unsheltered. Those haven't really changed. The only other thing we want to comment on is from reading the reports that people gave, we had 2 people saying they were living in storage units in town. 2 people said that they were living in abandoned homes in town. And then we had quite a few that were living in cars, living behind people's houses in tents, living under overpasses, and then some were, just kind of staying where they could in parks and other places. The sheltered count is on that next page. The sheltered count, we paired with Harbor House and the Father Bradley Shelter. And Melissa and Jessica, again, have met those new directors. We are so happy to have those new directors here and so thankful that they have come on board. If you've not met Josh Bell or Kendall Dean, please stop by or give the shelter a call and let them know that you would like to meet with them or just get to know them. And those are the 2 people that are running those shelters now. And you can see under that sheltered, there were the 3 reasons. That second one, released from prison or program with nowhere to go. Melissa and some other organizations that in March they're going to be hosting I believe it's from 11 to 2 at the Salvation Army for any nonprofits or anyone else that wants to come, ways to help people that are incarcerated when they are released. ways that organizations can help them. And so that's on Melissa's Facebook page, along with the other organizations. And so if you guys want more information on that, let us know. I am going to point back to Mr. Kenny again. We put the white flag thing in here just so you guys know what a white flag is, because before a lot of us joined the coalition, we did not know what a white flag was. And Melissa does have how many days we had to call a white flag. Those are called by Kenny in his office. And then Melissa assists along with the shelters. At a certain point, Salvation Army assisted as well, and the gathering place. Oh, I'm not leaving anybody out. That's why I'm looking at Kenny. And we are definitely not the white flag experts. Kenny is. So if you have any questions or want us to speak about that another time, let us know. We knew this meeting was kind of limited for time. But in December, there were 17 white flag days called. In January, there were 30 white flag days called. And in February, there have been 15 white flag days called. So that's a total of 62 days of white flag called. And that is where shelters, Kenny, Melissa, everyone that we mentioned, they're on call pretty much 24 hours during that time. So we do want to thank them. And if everybody in this room would give them a big round of applause, because it's been wonderful. And in our assessment, white flag was probably the most utilized this year as it ever has been. You guys can see them. Of course, they're not on the screen, but we just want to show you guys a couple of pictures from a few events that we had. You will notice in that first picture, there's a picture of a couple police officers there. We try to have the police and the sheriff's department, whoever's available, at everything that we do, so that our housing and our housing insecure can meet with the police, ask any questions they want to ask, and really build that relationship. And both of those departments have been wonderful about coming. Also, the ladies held a Friendsgiving event. They actually had to close it down early. They had over 100 people come eat for the Friendsgiving, and got all the food. They got all the food donated. Again, the library let us use their facilities, and then the library also let us do a giving tree there too. On that very next page is just a picture of us at the K-Count event. Tammy is in that picture way in the back, Tammy. I'll show it to you later. A few other things that these ladies have done is yesterday they just did a free laundry day for the homeless. So they went to the laundromat. The homeless could stop by between 2 and 4, and they helped them wash their laundry, and we paid for that. So there will be another one of those that's in there on March 24th. That one's at the corner laundry on Axon Street in Henderson. So that's an idea these ladies had. Where it came from, I'm not sure.
The homeless.
The homeless. It was extremely well received. And also, do you want to mention who came in, volunteered with you guys as well?
Oh, we had the port. We had some volunteer kids from the port come in. They also came in the Friendsgiving. They helped serve dinner then too. They've been a good partnership with us, with the volunteers.
The teens from the port have been coming and supporting a lot of our events and getting really involved. And then you'll see the picture of these little kiddos over here. These two ladies recently brought a dental clinic to town. The reason that I bring up the dental clinic is Health First has also brought one in town. They're trying to get another date. This is one of the biggest issues that we hear, housing insecure, just families in general. There are not a lot of providers that take Medicaid. And so this dental clinic, Melissa actually called me, and because she had called Aetna, who hosted hers. They hosted them in a van. They came and sat in front of her office in these vans and cleaned children's teeth, adults' teeth, whoever signed up. But Melissa called them whenever she opened it up and said, there's a glitch in your system. All the appointment times are full. And they said, no, that's not a glitch. That's how fast they fill up. And it had only been open maybe a couple of hours. So we're trying to get another one in town. And like I said, Health First is really trying to bring as many of those as they can in town as well. So we'll kind of keep you guys updated on those. One other thing that these ladies did specifically with the city was that they also went out to some encampments that were down on the riverfront. If any of you have noticed, some of the riverfront has been cleared out, some of the trees and shrubbery. And these ladies went down and tried to connect with any encampments that were down there before that occurred. And we want to thank Buzzy, we want to thank many others for giving us the opportunity to kind of know that those people were down there, to make connections with them, and to give them other options. You know, it is a safety hazard to not have those areas cleaned out, but we appreciated that the city did that with such sensitivity, and it was well received by those groups as well. And, you know, a lot of them appreciated that we said, hey, we're getting ready to clean out this area, but we've got these options for you. So I'm going to let Melissa in because she has 2 success stories. And one of these, I didn't know it was your last meeting, Buzzy, but I definitely would love for you to hear the second one.
So the first one is Donnie. We met him probably the first month that I was here at the library. We tried to get him into a sober living. He didn't want to do that. He said the Lord sent him to Henderson. This is where he wanted to stay. He didn't want to do anything else. So we worked with him and he come by our office on a regular basis. He ended up getting, he says it's not full-time, but he's at the Goodwill all the time working. So he's got a job now and he's got housing and he's doing great. And he also shares Jesus with everybody he meets. So he has Jesus tracts sent to our office. We have to chase him down to give them to him. He hands them out everywhere. And then the second picture is Ulysses from Community Park. When we came down here, everybody's like, I guess they kind of wanted us to have our guard up, you know, be prepared. But whenever we met Ulysses, or when I met him and then I took Jessica to meet him, he was the sweetest soul probably one of the sweetest people I've ever met. And anyhow, we kept in contact with him. He ended up going to jail for some drug charges. When he got out, he contacted me through a mutual person, and I was like, well, what do you want to do? And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, do you want drug treatment? Do you want us to try to get you in somewhere to get help? And he was like, yeah, that's what he wanted to do. So that night, I called Reverend Johnson. He got him a hotel room for the night, and I reached out to a lady that I knew. Long story short, he got into rehab the next morning. They picked him up at 10:30, and he's in Eastern Kentucky in a long-term treatment center. And they will help him find housing, permanent housing, once he's done there. And he's doing great. I get emails all the time from the lady about how he's doing. So his stuff is cleared from Community Park.
We appreciate you guys letting us come.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, thank you all very much.
Yes, thank you guys.
All right, next up on our presentations is the WC Handy Committee.
We didn't know we were this early, I think. So, my name is Steve Gold. Speaking of retiring, I've tried to retire from the Handy Festival Committee so many times, they keep pulling me back in. This is Gail Myers. He is the chairman of the WC Handy Blues and Barbecue Festival. And thank you, Mayor, for asking us to come and kind of give an update about what's going on and just how things are going. I know it's been a long meeting. You've got a lot more on the agenda, so we'll be quick. First thing we want to do is say thank you. Thank you to the City of Henderson. City of Henderson has always been and remains the most important partner that the WC Handy Festival has. For your support, the use of the park, the noise ordinance abatement, assistance from the Parks Department, police. It's a fantastic relationship, and we want to thank you for that. As most of you know, because I've seen all of you out at the festival pretty much every year, we do surveys. And one of the reasons that Gail's got me up here is that not only am I a talker, I'm also a data nerd. I really dig in on these surveys because we want to know who we've got there, what they're doing, what they're spending, where they're from, things like that. And I want to talk a little bit about there's a study that was done not too long ago called the Arts and Economic Prosperity Study. It was funded by NACO, the National Association of Counties, National League of Cities, U.S. Conference of Mayors, National Conference of State Legislators, Americans for the Arts, MacArthur Foundation, a lot of different foundations really trying to drill down on the economic impact of festivals and arts and things like that. And what they found is that return on investment for local government fundings for the arts have a return on investment of 7 to 1. For every $1 invested, $7 gets pumped into that community. And I always talk about the Handy Festival that 51 weeks a year, we tend to export dollars. But there's 1 week a year in Henderson we know we're importing. And that's when we've got a lot of people from out of town. And what they found is that those dollars that are brought in are respent in the local community. Those tourism dollars that come in, they have a snowball effect within a community. And out-of-town visitors to events spend more than locals on things like souvenirs, gas, hotels, eating, things like that. As you know, the Handy Festival is kind of a unicorn. It's huge. We don't know exactly how many people show up to it because we don't charge for tickets. But we know that park is full, and there are people that cycle through. There are people that just show up in the morning. Some people are just afternoon. Some people are there all day. Some are evening folks. So that park stays full for several days through that week. And what we know about the people in that park, because we do those surveys, is that 67% of them are they stay overnight. 70 to 80% are from out of town. So it's huge. There's a high production value. As you've seen, we've got the jumbotrons now, the big professional stage setup, a sound setup that we would put up against anywhere, any other festival anywhere. It's all volunteer. There are no employees at the WC Handy Blues and Barbecue Festival, even though it feels like it sometimes, right? And it's free. So that's what makes it a little bit unique among festivals. And I know you all know that a whole lot of cities that have signature festivals, large festivals like that, a lot of them are run by cities or by Parks Department or tourism departments. But that's not what happens with either the Handy Festival or Bluegrass in the Park. So we're very fortunate to have two great festivals being run all volunteer and free for people to show up to. So I want to tell you a little bit about the numbers that we know from these surveys. And we've been doing these surveys for about 25 years. So we know over time if there's a particularly high or low kind of anomalous year. What we find is they're pretty consistent, these numbers. And so what we've learned from this year, let's say we have an approximate festival budget. It is around $300,000. Now, if you divide that by the full-time equivalent, what the federal government uses for full-time employee equivalent that's $15,080. So that Handy Festival committee spending is the equivalent of 19.89 full-time equivalent jobs. We also have found out that the average amount of money spent by each group that comes to the festival, and this went up this past year, $646.48 is the average for each group that's spent on their trip into Henderson. That same group, the average group size is 3.49, so about 3.5 people in the average group size. So you start doing some math with that. You take, okay, we've got about $650, $646.48 divided by that 3.49 people. That's an average per person spent, every man, woman, and child in that park, of $185.24 brought into our community. Again, every year what we find is between about 70 and 80% of the attendees are from out of town. So if we were to conservatively estimate the WC Handy Blues and Barbecue crowd at 20,000 people throughout the course of that week, which I know Rodney works it. We're calling that a conservative estimate. Because I think he sells that many beers in a week, or maybe in a day, who knows. But a conservative estimate of 20,000, the economic impact to the Henderson economy of those people coming into town is $3.7 million, $3,704,800. That's that $185.24 multiplied by 20,000. That's an equivalent of that money brought in, just of that, not the number of times it cycles through the community, but just that initial time that money is brought in, of 245.7 full-time equivalent employees. So what we say is the arts means business. The arts is business. The WC Handy Festival means business to this community. And we're proud of that, and we're proud that we have something that we can bring people from out of town to and show off what a great community this is. Over the years, we've talked to people who have moved here because of the WC Handy Festival or stayed here because of the WC Handy Blues and Barbecue Festival. We're very proud of that, and that's one of the reasons they won't let me out, is because I get so excited by that. But the reason we're here is last year, around the time of the festival, the city showed interest in increasing its funding level to the festival to $25,000 to sponsor a headlining artist. That discussion came up too late, both for the city and for the Handy Festival, to make that happen. So we're back this year earlier to start that discussion in advance of the festival and the city budget process. And I do want to recognize, I think we have some other committee members here. I know Holly Gold is here, and I don't know if Brian Bishop was able to make it. Brian's the guy that actually books. There he is. Brian Bishop is our music chair. He actually books these bands, and we book them well in advance to make sure we're getting the right people on the right way, and we try to get deals as they're passing through to things like Bonnaroo or other things like that. So I will shut up. Gail, anything you want to add?
That's why I brought him in.
He knows somebody that's full of it and loves talking about Handy. But just, to give you an idea, like I say, we always, break down those surveys and do fancy pie charts and stuff like that. But I just wanted to give you the kind of, 50,000 foot overview of that. Do you all have any questions, anything that I can clear up?
So we left off last year in the middle of a discussion, kind of. It was a to-be-continued discussion, and you just brought that up, and thank you for bringing that up. In order to be timely and figure out what they're going to be able to book and how we're going to fit it into our budget, we should probably continue that discussion right now, if that's okay with you all. So the discussion basically was just like you said. We give, I think, $5,000 a year to the Handy Fest. Is that right?
I give more than that.
Do what?
I give more than that.
Well, good for you.
How much was it?
Past 75 in my account.
Gail says, in fairness,
So
it was
that-
5,500 last year.
75 last year,
70
55 this year.
Thank you. So we give to the festival each year, but one thing that I think that you pointed out that really we ought to keep in mind is that we are fortunate that all of our festivals pretty much are run by volunteers. When you look at Tri-Fest and Handy Fest and Blues Fest and Song Fest and Porch Fest and all these other things are things that the city does not have to run, and we appreciate that. We also appreciate the fact that you do it year after year, then undoubtedly a little burnout might set in, a little difficulty, raising money might set in, and for me, I think it would be smart of us to provide a message and an incentive to you all about the work that we think that you're doing. I'm willing to hear from the other or not willing to, but I'd like to hear from the other commissioners to see what you think specifically about donating $25,000 to the headliner.
These volunteers meet about 26 weeks out of a year to work on this festival. I know because they do it at Rookies.
We do it at his establishment.
But, they volunteer all their time, and when you go out of town and talk to somebody about Henderson, they say, well, what's going on in Henderson? What's the first thing you say? Every single time, Handy Fest. You got to come down for Handy Fest. So I'll give them whatever they want.
Hey, Rodney, when we had that discussion when we started, I asked my son Nolan, I said, Nolan, you think you can get in touch with Chris Stapleton's manager? He said, I got some connections. And lo and behold.
He played Bluegrass in the
He
Park.
did play Bluegrass in the Park.
Listen, and he got in touch, and he got in touch with his manager some kind of way. And Buddy said it would cost $1 million for just one, appearance. And looking now,
We all should have learned to
where
play
he's
guitar.
come, it might have been a good price, but
I
he
think
did get in touch with me.
well,
I told him we probably couldn't afford that.
I think in light of the information that you just said, I think it would be smart of us if we were going to make a motion of any sort
I have a quick
to put a
question.
dollar figure on it. Yes, ma'am.
The grant process last year with the United Way, and that's how a lot of those other festivals applied. Is this the same or is this different?
So this would be a one-time special donation that they are seeking to get for the festival, specifically for their headliner act. And the same process, the United Way process, will be available, but this is this is going to be in lieu of the United Way process for this specific festival for this year. And so they wouldn't receive or be eligible to receive any additional funds from the city if we were to go ahead and move forward with this particular action. Does that answer your question?
It does.
The
15, 20? What are you thinking?
I don't think 25 if that would do. You want us to sponsor a headliner? Is that what you want?
So-
That was the discussion from last year?
Yeah,
We were just
yeah.
bringing it
Last
back
year,
up.
where we left off was that we were in a discussion to specifically provide $25,000 for this year's festival toward the Headliner Act as a sponsor. And I have spoken with, and you're welcome to come up and talk, Brian, if you'd like, but I've spoken with Brian, and a typical Headliner Act for the Handy Fest is going to cost anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000. And so this may not cover the exact amount that they need for their headliner, but it would go a long way toward being able to secure a band that might be a little bit more expensive than what they normally spend on a headliner act, is where that would leave them.
I'm, because I know when he said $1 million, and we can get off about 30,000 and get somebody on the second level, I'm on board.
Well, with that,
Need a motion?
well, if this is the direction the commission would like to go, then I would entertain a motion to give a one-time $25,000 donation to the WC Handy Fest, specifically to sponsor their Headliner Act for 2025.
So move.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other comments, questions, or discussions? And an attachment to that would be, if this is voted in favor, this would give our staff the ability to go and look and see how to fit it within our budget and our budget process. So we have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Hargis,
Nay. Sorry.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt,
Aye.
Commissioner Witt,
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. We will get it done for you. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Get it.
you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Steve, get a good one.
Mr. Bishop's.
All right, next up, we have the HLI presentation on Virtual Citizens Academy.
Good afternoon. As Mayor Brad stated, we're with HLI we just graduated with HLI, which is the Henderson Leadership Initiative, and we're fresh off of graduation and still eager to learn. We did learn a lot, but we want more. And part of our practicum was to develop a Henderson Virtual Citizens Academy. Citizens Academies are in many communities throughout our country, and we kind of were thinking, how can we reach the most of our community citizens by making it virtual and being able to go from home, see it from home. So Aaron is going to kind of talk about how we want to do that, and what the city can help us do that, make that happen, making this knowledge available to our community to advocate for change and maybe create a new generation of civic leaders.
Hi, thank you for having us today, Erin Spence. When we first started talking about a virtual Citizens Academy, we started talking about things that we didn't know. So you don't know what you don't know. And just a personal experience, I've always bought a vehicle at a dealership, so everything was taken care of. And in this past year, I bought my son a vehicle from out of state. Indiana is not a notary state, so when I came back over here, I was unaware that if the bill of sale was not notarized, you had to pay the market value of the vehicle. So I learned the hard way and had to face some extra taxes. So we discussed a lot about some some things that other people have asked, we were in contact with Brian Bishop, because there's a lot of misconception about what departments do, what in municipal government. So during our presentation, we actually did a live poll, and we found we had 3 separate questions. The first one was how many districts the Henderson County's zoning ordinance contains, and the answer was 14. Who's responsible for repairing a pothole in front of the Green Street McDonald's, which of course is the state. And we also had what percentage of your county tax goes to the Henderson County Fiscal Court, which was 11.57. So what that showed us was the information. You can find the information, but it's a little hard to dig into everything to try to find that information. So we found that roughly about 50 to 60% of the individuals that attended the HLI graduation did not know the answers to these questions. So we did come up with a virtual Citizens Academy to help with that. And through our project, we committed with funding to do, with the city and the county, to do approximately 8 to 10 videos to basically give the citizens a little more information about the different departments between the city government and county government, and some items that may rarely come up, but things that citizens should know. So, and now we'll hand it off to Ms. Holly Gold.
One of the reasons that we decided to pursue this project, or we came up with this project, is some of it comes from my personal experience. A lot of you know that I'm married to Steve, the county attorney, and I get a lot of questions from family, friends, coworkers about things in government that I don't necessarily know, but I know because of my spouse, or they think I should know the answers to those questions. So, and they don't know where to go to get those answers. So it was kind of an inspiration, and for this project. I'm sure that a lot of you have experienced a similar thing where people, come and ask you questions to things that aren't in your area exactly, but it's government adjacent, and it would be helpful to have more information out there for people. So with that in mind, our proposal is to create a series of 10 videos that will supplement the information that's already available on city and county websites. The videos would cover topics like the roles of elected officials, government departments, the powers and limitations of local governments, and an overview of budgets, taxes, and how-tos for common tasks that come before government. The videos would be less than 10 minutes long and include interviews with elected officials and staff. Since we began the project, we've met with people within the city government, county government, worked with the local videographer, Darren Fegley, to create a pilot video. And a couple weeks ago, we met with the county and got funding approved for half of the fees to pay for these videos. If the funding is fully approved, we'd like to have the videos, I think Aaron mentioned, by October. We'd like to have those completed and out for people to view. So we would like to show you our pilot video, which Brian Bishop agreed to be our guinea pig for. Yeah, I know. Maybe.
Don, can you push play on the... Sure. Thank you.
I'm Brian Bishop, Executive Director of the Henderson City County Planning Commission. So the Planning Commission is created through an interlocal agreement. It consists of the City of Henderson, the County of Henderson, and the City of Corydon. We have 12 members on the Planning Commission. They're all citizen members. 6 come from the city and are appointed by the mayor. 5 are appointed by the county judge, and 1 is appointed by the City of Corydon's mayor. So the Planning Commission is located at 1990 Barrett Court. In that building, we also have city codes, county codes, emergency management. So we try to be a one-stop shop, so that if you come in for a building permit or a rezoning, a copy of a plat, we have just about everything you would need in one location.
Okay, what can I help you with today?
So the Planning Commission acts as the central clearinghouse for land development. and that covers a lot of bases. So for example, if someone wanted to develop a farm into a subdivision, we would help with the rezoning aspect of it, the coordination with public utilities such as Henderson Water Utility. We would work with the engineering firms for the plan approvals that you would see for plats, road construction drawings, things of that nature. We would work hand in hand with city codes, and then you would get your building permit. We would not actually approve the building permit, but we help provide the information that's required for the building permit process. One of the primary functions we do is we provide GIS, which stands for Geographic Information System, to a large number of city and county utilities. So for example, Henderson Municipal Power and Light would use GIS to mark all their poles, or they would use it to map outages, things of that nature. One thing that people commonly think the Plan Commission does is property maintenance. Sometimes we will get complaints regarding dilapidated structures or dilapidated vehicles. Things of that nature are actually handled by the respective codes departments. One option that the Plan Commission offers is called preliminary conference. At that meeting, citizens come in and ask whatever they would like to ask about developing a piece of property. We would not need any drawings. We would use our GIS system, which would show approximate property lines. And from there, we will have all the local government utilities such as Henderson Water Utility, Henderson Municipal Gas, Henderson Municipal Power and Light at the table, so the citizens can have all their questions answered at one time. We do it every Thursday. We just ask that you call the Plan Commission office the Tuesday prior by 11 o'clock to schedule the time. We typically start at 9 o'clock in the morning and we'll go to lunch. That is a service provided for free to the citizens, and we can answer just about any questions related to land development.
So thank you for the city. You all paid for that video. Thank you very much. But we are actually here today to request $4,000 is basically half of the $10,000 minus the $1,000 that the city gave us to have our first video complete. And we would also like to have a city and county representative to act as a liaison and facilitator to help determine which topics should be covered. Once the videos are complete, they will be distributed and provided to the city and county to do with as they wish, to put on the websites and such. And the city and county would also have the ability, once these videos are complete, to expand on the project at your discretion. So thank you, and we'll take any questions that you may have.
Can you do a video on how to set up automatic utility billing?
Sure.
Rodney.
That requires extra funding, I believe. But anyway,
Well, thank you, guys. I think your presentation at your graduation was really nice, and the video that you did was really nice. We have a work session in March, on March 18th. Before the work session, would you all mind to get us a list of the videos that you're thinking about shooting so that we can make a decision on that?
absolutely, yeah. We've created many lists, and
Okay.
we might ask Holly and yours advice on making sure we're going in the right direction, because we definitely want you to have, if you do agree to fund this project, to have oversight over it and make sure that we're doing the proper direction that the city and county want to go in.
You have a target on when you need an answer for, you know?
So we would like to have all of the videos done by October. We have a bank account that's set up for us until June. So there is potential that we may need to set up a separate bank account or somehow.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're trying to get the videos done by October, so as long as we keep moving in the right direction, we should be fine with going to the March planning meeting that you said.
Good deal, yeah. It'll be March the 18th, so it'll be
Okay.
the third Tuesday in March, is when we're scheduled to have our work session in March.
Yeah.
And I think this will be a good just topic that wouldn't take too long for us to discuss, but as long as we have kind of a list of videos that you all are wanting to make.
Right.
Then that'll give us the opportunity to discuss the value of that list and if we want to move that direction. And I think what you've got so far looks really good.
Right.
And would be a very good supplement to help our community learn more about what we do.
Yeah.
Would you like us to send that list to Holly or Dylan or?
Buzzy, what do you, what would be best?
I think Holly would be your best liaison for this.
Yep,
Okay, thank you.
it'd be great. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Audubon Kids Zone, review of Letcher Street corridor.
So, I think I know I'm here, but we'll start from the beginning. So about 9-ish years ago, our current facilities, our trailers were brought in to the east end and on the corner of Letcher and Powell. And honestly, about 9 years ago, we ran out of space. And now, the city owns a lot directly across the street from AKZ. And our vision, our hope, is that the city can gift that to us, donate that to us to build a new facility. But we just want to be clear, it's really more than just about the lot or the new facility. This is really about investing in the kids, in the future of our kids, investing in the next generation, and building a brighter future. This new building would, I don't think this clicker's working. There we go. Okay, thank you. So current capacity, we can fit about 45 kids at a time in our building in the program. So if you come into AKZ, especially after school, we have volunteers reading with kids on the floor, and we have speech therapists working in staff offices, and we have physical therapy going on in the hallway, and there's all kinds of things, all kinds of kids, and it's fun, but it's really crowded. And even with us being crowded and packed into this trailer, we're only reaching about 20% of the kids who would really benefit from the services that we provide. On top of that, our early learning program, we know that early learning is super important in a kid's development. Only about 70% of the kindergartners going into South Heights are not kindergarten ready. So that means that they're not, like they're entering kindergarten already behind their peers. We have, our early learning program is called Strong Starts, and it's really parent focused, parent engagement focused, and 100% of the kids who graduate Strong Starts are kindergarten ready. So with this new building, also, we are super big on the parent is the most important teacher in a kid's life, and it's all about what you know. It's all about education and support, and this new building would allow us to offer more families access to support and education so that they can establish stability and live a more self-sufficient life. Back to our after-school program, this would give kids a place to be proud of, a safe place where they can learn and they can interact and they can practice their social skills, and they can stay out of trouble, and instead of going out and doing things they aren't supposed to, they'll be with us at AKC. This is Jeff Jackson. He's our board chair. We'd like to break this project down into phases, and he's going to talk about the phases.
Click.
Deal. Okay. Go ahead.
Back up. Well, so we see this as a multi-phase restoration and beautification project there on the Letcher Street corridor. And this is just a piece of that larger project. Our first phase, which we're currently involved in, is the design work. And today, we're looking to secure that future building site. The first phase we see in this project is really to renovate the exterior of our existing facility. And with the help of Tim Skinner and his firm, we can give you a glance of what we hope that to look like, and really dress up that Letcher Street corridor. And we're hoping, as phase one, we can really use this as the introductory part of that project, and to allow this to be the launch pad of the continuance of the project down Letcher Street. The building lot, as Casey mentioned, is directly across the street from our existing facility. And we're excited about the future of Letcher Street, which is kind of the old Main Street on the east end. You can see there the building site that we're talking. And then finally on this, we would look to start our capital campaign and begin construction. And again, with Tim's help, we give you a little bit of glance of what we hope that building to look like. It's a lot of flex space, a kitchen, additional space for our programming, and some community space as well. And we feel like really is the capstone of this Letcher Street project, and then it catches fire, and we're hoping it expands throughout the neighborhood.
So like we said, the lot is right across the street from AKZ. It would make it easy for our kids to go back and forth, stay connected. It would help us have more space for community involvement, neighborhood meetings. It would, and I think it would really give the city an opportunity to make a statement that says that the city of Henderson really cares about investing in their kids, and they care about building a brighter future and revitalizing the East End and building a stronger community.
Good deal. What kind of questions do we have from the City Commission?
I really don't know if I have any questions or anything. I moved back to Henderson in the fall of 2015. I think Casey and I were talking about this the other day. I guess I joined Rotary, and I guess it was like a short time after I remember Rob Carroll and some others coming to Rotary presenting about the concept of AKC. I guess they were maybe starting the process at that point. It's been pretty cool to see the evolution over the last, 9 years or whatnot. And the controlled growth of it, but also the amount of people and families that y'all are touching in that part of the community is, pretty cool to see. So anything we can do as a city to try to support those efforts, I 100% agree with. I mean, I think, they're obviously a large part of what makes our city strong, especially that part of the community. So I would certainly support any support that we can give them to help address that.
I agree with that. You said we're getting 20%?
Mm-hmm.
There's 80% out there that we're not getting, that we can't.
No,
that we
we're
can't
only
handle.
we're only reaching 20. I mean, we're in
That's good enough for me,
trailers
yes,
like
I'm
this.
in. Yeah.
Mhm.
No, and I really appreciate the work that you all do. Audubon Kid Zone we have a lot of really important nonprofits, and Audubon Kid Zone is certainly near the top of that list in the services that you provide and everything else. And I think before we bought this lot, we bought it as a multi-property purchase that included this lot. I think you all had already started having soft conversations with the previous owner about potentially building a building on that lot. Is that
Yeah,
accurate?
she was gonna gift the lot and the building to us, and then it was for safety reasons, obviously.
But I'll say, we talked about this, the city really helped us dodge a bullet of setback with, we had a clean bill of health on the building, but there was deterioration from that examination of the building until when we were ready really to execute the deed. And Buzzy kind of led the charge on that, but we found out the building was in worse, in disarray, so disrepair. And so that, we would have started really behind the 8 ball, from that standpoint. So we appreciate the city being able to step in and raise that building and clear the lot.
So what kind of timeline are you looking at? When do you want to start a capital campaign, and when would you expect construction to start and finish and stuff like that?
Hopefully, capital campaign goal is January 2026. We haven't really talked to any art construction or anything that far. We were just in the design process, so.
We know that, phase 1, we feel like is going to allow us to make a statement of commitment and start that project. We know that the larger project is really going to be, we've got, in talking with Tim, and we don't have concrete numbers here, but around $1.5 million. With inflation, you can probably add to that. So it's not a small endeavor from that standpoint. But I would say within 3 years, we hope to kind of officially launch our capital campaign for the larger facility. And we've been talking with, to hopefully start construction, certainly within that 3 to 5 year range.
Buzzy, what are your thoughts?
Rob's in the audience, and I think Rob was there in the very beginning with all the discussions, and in best of my memory, Rob, we went through this exercise for a new building on the current site that you sit on, and at that time had a $3 to $5 million price tag. And so I think at that time it lost steam. And so, as Commissioner Witt said, 9 years later, AKZ is still operating out of a retired military compound. And we always laugh about those trailers, that they've got a history that nobody knows, but we know it came from a top secret operation at Fort Campbell. And when you went inside of it, Rob, if you remember, there were some odd things in there. But
We're not supposed to be speaking about
no, but I think the point we're getting to, the trailers have served their purpose to get you through 9 years of time. And there was money invested in the trailer, but as you stated earlier, the growth of AKZ and the stability that it brings to the inner city area, not only for the kids, but for the parents too, has been very important to help where other help is not available. So with that being said, I do believe that it's a very worthwhile project. I think it's a vision that started 9 or 10 years ago, and now it's coming to fruition. And the one thing I do want to say, there was a lot of discussions at the time that the dance hall met its demise. And there was an opportunity for the city to help support the inner city projects, and by buying not only 4 of the property owners' parcels, and everyone in here is aware that we bought other parcels along Letcher Street. It's all in support of a big picture of how do we revitalize that neighborhood and bring back people into those neighborhoods and help build businesses. And I think this is what it's all about, and I think it's a good beginning to start with y'all. So, Mayor, that's my opinion.
So I think I'd like to make a motion that we, before we get to.
Well, so what would happen, I think what would happen in this case, and we didn't discuss this morning, is today we should give an indication of interest on which way we should go, and then they can draw up the paperwork for us to vote on later. Is that?
Yeah, we actually don't own that
Right,
property.
we have to tidy that up first. We're very close to owning that particular piece of property. But there are things to consider, you know, I mean, is anyone not in favor of moving forward to see if we can, or see about donating that particular lot? Everybody good with that? So I think we're all good with it. It's just, let's work on the legal stuff. You know, some things for us to consider would be, we wouldn't want to give you the lot and then turn around 8 years later and nothing having been done with that lot when we could have done something different. And so we'll need to figure out how to word that in the contractual language to make sure that we protect ourselves from giving you the asset. But I think we're wildly in support of you guys and what you do. And if you all are able to pull off a capital campaign in that particular building, not only is it going to dress up the area, but it's going to function much better for the kids in that area, and that's really what we're looking for, right? So if you all would, everybody, you're good with the, yeah, so if you would, if we'll have Dylan and Dawn work on the paperwork, and then we'll get it back on an agenda shortly.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and we would like to recognize Christian Community Outreach. I think we have some representatives from Christian Community Outreach here. Okay, and if you don't mind, in the interest of time, I'm going to go over kind of what the city and Christian Community Outreach has discussed, and then I have an agreement for us to sign. So the city commission.
Yes.
Yeah. So the city commission and Christian Community Outreach started talking about 2 weeks ago at the direction of the city commission and HWU. And we have come to an agreement on setting up a water utility assistance fund that Christian Community Outreach is going to administer. We still have some T's to cross and I's to dot, but it's very, very close. And so I just wanted to give kind of an update on that. $25,000 is going to come from the city. $25,000 is going to come from HWU to create a one-year fund that is going to be $50,000 in total that's going to be administered by Christian Community Outreach. The way that that fund is going to work is that if someone is at 130% of the poverty level or less, then they will be eligible to apply for assistance throughout a calendar year from this fund to go specifically toward their Henderson water utility bill. And each family or household is going to be eligible for up to $200 to help them with any issues, not just the recent water meter issues, but any issues that might have caused them trouble to be able to pay their water bills. And so that's going to kick off here in just a few weeks. If there's anything you would like to say, you're welcome to it, and I'm going to bring this contract down there so we can sign that and get this underway.
Well, we're thrilled to partner. We like partnerships. We also like a good challenge. I think we're going to get it. So thank you for asking us to partner. It means a lot to us, and we'll get this going.
Yes, ma'am. Well, if we can do our John Hancock's, and don't make me for my signature when I sign, if you don't mind. This one is you. You can sign this. Sign the ugly one. All right. We are good to go. And I'll give this to our attorney to execute, and thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here today.
Thank you guys
and
for
your
administering
help.
this.
I just want to say one, because I know the commission a lot of times gets negative publicity, but I just want to thank the commission for the past few years for your continuous support financially. But what you've done to the city, the beautification, the new park that we've got, the sports complex and everything, you know, we rely on donations from corporations, from individuals, from businesses, and, you know, all this money coming in is just going to trickle down to all the nonprofits eventually, you know, because of everything that y'all have done. And, you know, not just the money that y'all give us, but what y'all have done is really going to help all the nonprofits. So thank y'all.
Thank you very much.
He had to say that. That's my little brother.
Okay, and last but certainly not least, and thank you for sticking around with us for an hour and 21 minutes and 24 seconds. We have the Community Spotlight Award to give out. And so if I could have representatives from the United Way, representatives from EMA, and representatives who have been cleaning up debris in the community to come up to the podium or around this area, and we would like to present you with our Community Spotlight Award for the month of February. And if you want to go ahead and read it.
They didn't know if they could come up.
Following the recent ice storm, the United Way of Henderson County and Henderson Emergency Management came together to help their community in a way we've never seen until now. Both organizations were instrumental in the creation of a crisis cleanup hotline that offered debris cleanup to residents affected by the storm. Their collective efforts allowed city and county residents who were unable to clean up their properties after the ice storm to receive help at no cost, regardless of income status. With over 150 calls received, the response was great, and thanks to the quick and dedicated efforts of Disaster Relief of Kentucky, over 104 have already received the assistance they requested. This group of dedicated volunteers took to the streets, cutting down limbs, cleaning debris, and assisting residents in need. The efforts shown by United Way of Henderson County, Henderson Emergency Management, and Disaster Relief of Kentucky are the reason we're proud to honor them as our February Community Spotlight. Thank you for your hard work, compassion, and the positive impact you've had on our community. You truly made a difference in the lives of many Henderson residents.
Yes, you did.
So I wanted to thank you, first of all, with the United Way. Wait, is it, are these separate or are they all the same?
I'm probably this one that says
They all
United
have,
Way.
Is there one?
They got like different names.
Maybe not.
Shuffle them around.
That one says United Way.
So thank you very much. You and EMA, first of all, and Kenny, I'm going to give this to you, this one. Yes, sir. And I'm going to give this to you guys. And so I wanted to thank you all, first of all, for pitching in. So EMA and United Way and you all got together and really formed a formidable team that's been able to clean up a lot of our debris from the storm. It has taken weeks to get to this point because it takes a long time for people to gather their stuff and get it down to the corner. But we've had assistance with taking their debris down to the corner, with cleaning up the debris, with the curbside pickup. I'm sure Buzzy's probably going to add a few things to this, but I just wanted to say from the city of Henderson, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for helping us get out of this mess that our community was in. And we're starting to see light at the end of the tunnel, and a lot of it's because of the efforts that you guys did. So thank you very much. We appreciate it.
We're all
If I can have you all come this way, we'd like to take a picture with the Community Spotlight Awards, and we're going to do some on our Facebook page. Let everybody know what kind of good job you guys did.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, let me take one more. All right, thank you.
Thank you all.
He can cut, so.
Okay, we are going to fly through the rest of this part as quick as we possibly can. We have a consent agenda.
The consent agenda for the meeting contains the following: the minutes of the February 5th joint called meeting with Water and Sewer Commission, the minutes of the February 11th, 2025 regular meeting, the February 18th, 2025 special called meeting, and Resolution 16-25, resolution approving Human Resources Report dated February 25th, 2025, Municipal Order Number 19-25, Municipal Order authorizing the submission of a fiscal year 2025 Chrome Rubber Tire Derived Product Grant application of the Kentucky Energy and Environmental Cabinet for $35,000 in funding for chrome rubber surfacing at East End Park with a city match of $15,500, accepting the funds if awarded, and authorizing the mayor to execute all the necessary documents. Municipal Order Number 20-25, Municipal Order authorizing the submission of a fiscal year 2025 AARP Community Challenge Grant application for $14,653 in funding for the purchase and installation of a shade shelter at the sports complex, accepting the grant if awarded, and authorizing the execution of all necessary documents. Municipal Order Number 21-25, Municipal Order approving a new interlocal cooperation agreement between the City of Henderson and Fiscal Court of Henderson County for purposes of providing Henderson Emergency 911 Communications Center in Henderson County, including the City of Henderson, and establishing a joint county-city emergency 911 advisory board, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement on behalf of the city.
Before we vote on the consent or get a motion, is there any item any commissioner would like to pull for further discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have second readings of ordinances. The first one would be an ordinance amending natural gas service rates and charges.
Ordinance number 3-25, ordinance amending natural gas service rates and charges, and ordinance amending ordinance number 11-18 by adding gas service schedule for our local transportation customers.
We have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
Do we have any comments, questions? Just a reminder, this is not a rate increase on residential customers. This is, what is, Buzzy,
Pratt.
you can, for Pratt, thank you. Can you explain that just a little bit?
Basically, when Pratt came to town, they were actually acquiring their natural gas through other sources. And after a year of being here and seeing the service that our natural gas department provided, they decided to join with doing prepaid deals through Peak. And with that being said, we had to go ahead and establish gas rates for them as part of our ordinance.
Good deal. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have an ordinance amending Appendix A.
Ordinance number 4-25, ordinance amending Appendix A zoning relating to towing services and towing recovery yards. Ordinance amending Article 23-M-1 Light Industrial District, Section 23.03 Conditional Uses, and amending Article 24-M-2 Heavy Industrial District, Section 24.02, permitted uses, and Section 24.03, conditional uses of Appendix A, zoning of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Henderson relating to towing services and towing and recovery yards.
Motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions, or suggestions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis. Aye. Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have an ordinance related to transient room tax.
Ordinance number 5-25, ordinance amending Chapter 21, taxation, Article 7, transient room tax. An ordinance amending Chapter 21, taxation, Article 7, transient room tax, Section 21-110, tax imposed in Section 21-112, collection, filing of returns, penalty of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Henderson.
We have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second? Do we have any comments, questions, or suggestions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis. Aye. Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have an ordinance related to the comprehensive plan.
Ordinance number 6-25, ordinance adopting amendment to Chapter 10, enabling I-69 goals and objectives to the Henderson City County Comprehensive Plan.
We have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis. Aye. Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have an ordinance amending job classifications.
Ordinance number 7-25, ordinance amending job classifications and pay plan. An ordinance approving amendment to job classifications and pay plan by creating the positions of gas compliance engineer and legal secretary.
Motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second? Do
Second.
we have any comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis. Aye. Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. And last up on second readings, we have an ordinance amending budgeted positions for fiscal year 2025.
Ordinance number 8-25, ordinance amending portion of City of Henderson fiscal year 2025 budget appropriation. Ordinance amending City of Henderson budgeted positions and job classifications of the 2024-2025 budget for certain non-hazardous positions in the administration and gas departments.
Motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis. Aye. Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye, and just a reminder, we kind of flew through that section pretty fast, but those are all second readings. So we've had a chance to read the first time and have our discussions at the last meeting. These next ones are first readings, and the first on that list is an ordinance amending budgeted positions and job classifications.
Ordinance number 9-25, ordinance amending portion of City of Henderson fiscal year 2025 budget appropriation. Ordinance amending City of Henderson budgeted positions and job classifications of the 2024-2025 budget for certain non-hazardous positions in the administration and parks and recreation departments.
Motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Buzzy, you want to tell us a little bit more?
I would ask Megan to come to the podium, but the one thing y'all probably think, you know, we're doing these about every meeting, but what you'll, or at least let us make you aware of, we are getting retirements in some of the other non-key positions. Some are key positions, but it's apparent to us these changes are coming more frequently to meet the demand that we're seeing in the change in the workforce. So, Megan, if you can describe the two positions that we're asking for approval, I would appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. So firstly, we're asking to reclassify the position of secretary in the codes division to administrative clerk. As Brian Bishop mentioned earlier, the Peabody building is kind of a one-stop shop, and this will actually give the ability for the person in that position to do some of the occupational license duties. So that will streamline things and give that individual a little bit more responsibility. Secondly, we have our legal secretary is retiring, and we're going to miss her. She has done a great job, but we're looking to do an overhire to allow her to train that person in. We also have our Parks Director, Trace Stevens, has announced his retirement. We're doing an overhire for that as well.
Do you have any comments or questions for Megan? I think what you're doing makes sense. You know, they brought it up earlier, succession planning has really been a strong point of Buzzy's over the years, and of you. since you started.
Yes.
And I think you all are doing a heck of a good job. And I think it all makes really good sense. So thank you for the update. Appreciate it.
I forgot to mention one. We're also requesting an increase in pool staff. And this is going to be increasing the cashiers and lifeguards from 15 to 20 and 4 to 10. And we're not looking for this to add any hours to the payroll, but it'll be more kids working less hours to allow their schedules to be accommodated.
Deal.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have an ordinance closing public right-of-way on McLean Avenue.
Ordinance number 10-25, ordinance closing public right-of-way located on McLean Avenue near the intersection of South Main Street. An ordinance closing a portion of unimproved public right-of-way along McLean Avenue near the intersection of South Main Street, which is approximately 3,430 total square feet, located in the city of Henderson.
We have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any comments, questions, or suggestions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have an ordinance pertaining to medicinal cannabis business.
Ordinance number 11-25, ordinance amending Chapter 21 taxation to add a new Article 8 medicinal cannabis business, Section 21-121 definitions, Section 21-222 medical cannabis local license requirement fee, and Section 223 occupational license fees.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Dawn, can you tell us a little bit more about this and how it stacks up to other ordinances you've seen across the state around?
Sure.
this time?
So, as you all know, that medical cannabis became legal in the state of Kentucky starting January 1st of this year. Local governments had the option to approve it or not to approve it in their jurisdiction. Back last year, we approved the zoning to allow it. We had applications to place a dispensary, not the other businesses, but a dispensary in Henderson. And that has been, that license has been preliminarily granted, but they still haven't been through all of that. But under the KRS, it allows the local government to set up a framework for them to operate in our community and to set up a fee. And so this is what we have done with this ordinance. The fee is $500. The fee is it can't be more than what it costs local government in increased fees to deal with these businesses. Other communities have chosen $500 likewise. I think all the local governments are really just looking for the first year to see, is $500 the appropriate amount, or does it need to be adjusted? This really follows what other communities across the state who have allowed medical cannabis to do.
And that was, so a lot of times we discuss while we're here things to, and I give a little guidance before it comes to the commission. And when when Dawn and I were talking about it, that was the first question I asked her was, what are other cities charging? And are we way out of line with that? And we're actually right in line with what most other cities in Kentucky are charging, if I understand correctly. Is that
Yes,
right?
correct.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have an ordinance amending our mid-year fiscal 2025 budget.
Ordinance number 12-25, ordinance amending budget and appropriation ordinance. An ordinance amending budget and appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025 for the city of Henderson, Kentucky. Whereas on June 11th, 2024, the city of Henderson adopted its annual budget and appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025, being ordinance number 27-24, and whereas the city manager recommends that the following additional amendments be adopted, now therefore be it ordained by the city of Henderson, Kentucky, that ordinance number 27-24 is amended as follows. The general fund administration will be amended to $3,976,810. Finance will be amended to $3,257,290. The police will be amended to $10,026,970. The public works will be amended to $4,118,330. Other will be amended to $3,177,550. Transfers will be amended to $7,522,000. and that brings the total general fund budget amended amount to $46,179,000. There is hereby appropriated for the general and special funds accounts of the City of Henderson and allocated to the various funds of the city the following amounts. The general fund expenditure total has been amended to $38,657,000, and the transfer to mass transit amended budget fund is $618,000. The total general fund budget being amended to $46,179,000. The natural gas fund has been amended to $20,058,000. The Hart operating fund has been amended to $2,046,000. The sanitation fund has been amended to $5,790,000. The number and classifications of city employees as recited in the annual budget is approved as presented. The city manager is hereby authorized to hire an additional 2 police officers wherein it is deemed necessary by the chief of police and city manager due to the length of training necessary for this position. The city manager is authorized to hire an additional 1 firefighter when it is deemed necessary by the fire chief and the city manager due to the length of training necessary for this position. The city manager is authorized to hire additional non-hazardous duty personnel for key positions when deemed necessary for succession training purposes, and the expenditures for the additional hires do not exceed the appropriations granted. And this ordinance of amendment shall become effective upon its legal adoption.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
So we had a entire work, or not an entire work session, we had a work session devoted to discussing a lot of these things. But do any of the commissioners have any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis. Aye. Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have a municipal order approving appointment of city manager.
Municipal order approving appointment of Dylan Ward as city manager and approval of employment agreement and authorizing mayor to execute the agreement on behalf of the city.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Second.
All right, and the entire commission has had a chance to review the contracts, is that right?
Yeah.
Are there any questions or concerns about anything in the contract for Dylan? Or are there any questions or concerns about appointing Dylan as the city manager at this point? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye, congratulations, Dylan. In
Congratulations.
30 years, I'll give you a big hug.
You down there smiling for it,
Look
buddy.
at him, look at him. Next up, we have a municipal order approving the appointment of an assistant city manager.
Municipal order number 23-25, municipal order approving an appointment of William L. Buzzy Newman as city manager, assistant city manager, and approval of employment agreement and authorizing the mayor to execute agreement on behalf of the city.
We have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
And just a reminder, the starting salary for Dylan for the city manager's position will be $149,000. And Buzzy is going to have a starting salary as assistant city manager of $118,000, plus other things that are in the contract. Everybody's had a chance to review the contracts. Are there any questions, suggestions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis. Aye. Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Congratulations to you on your new role as assistant city manager. Yes, sir.
Think he's qualified?
I hope so. My goodness.
Just as long as city manager doesn't fire.
Yeah, there you go. The, next up, we have a resolution approving and adopting amended Title VI plan.
Resolution number 17-25, resolution approving and adopting the amended Title VI Plan, Limited English Proficiency Plan, and Public Participation Plan, and superseding any and all previously adopted Title VI plans.
We have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis. Aye. Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have a municipal order awarding a bid for limestone rock, sand, and other materials.
Municipal order number 24-25, municipal order awarding bid for purchase of limestone rock, sand, and recycled concrete for a Group A to Mulzer Crushed Stone Incorporated of Tell City, Indiana, and Pine Bluff Materials to Company LLC of Nashville, Tennessee, effective March 31st, 2025.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have a municipal order approving the purchase of a garbage truck.
Municipal order number 25-25. Municipal order approving purchase of a 2025 Freightliner chassis with a Heil 24-yard Liberty ASL garbage truck to be used by the Public Works Department from Stringfellow Incorporated of Louisville, Kentucky through Sourcewell contract number 091219-THC in the amount of $290,733.49.
We have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have any comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. And lastly, on municipal orders, we have a municipal order approving the purchase of used long-reach excavator.
Municipal order number 26-25, municipal order authorizing purchase of a used 2004 CAT 325C long reach excavator with a 2019 Fay mulching head UML HY 100 VT, a 48-inch dirt bucket, a 2010 Fay UML HY 100 mulching head, a manual thumb, and 2 days of training on the equipment for the Public Works Department from the ER Trucking Company Incorporated, Hartford, Kentucky, in the amount of $107,500.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second?
Do we have any comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. City Manager's report.
The only thing I have today, I'd like to recognize Brian Williams and his staff for the wonderful job they have done coordinating the effort for the debris pickup citywide. I can say they're working 7 days a week, and I'll just say it's been a big commitment of his staff to assist with the debris contractor. I will tell you that our consultant who's keeping us in line with FEMA guidelines have said from their observation and tracking, this is probably one of the best organized storm cleanups that they've ever seen. And it goes back to the folks that were here earlier today who helped our citizens get their debris to the street. So it's gone extremely well. Brian, do you anticipate completing this week, or?
I'll give you best update. So as of around 2 o'clock this afternoon, they completed Zone 3, which was Wednesday's trash route. So we're into Zone 4, which is Thursday's trash route. So we're headed south. So with any luck, by this weekend, hopefully we'll be done.
Oh, my gosh.
Brian, I got a
That's a lot
question.
quicker than I thought it would be.
You guys, you had some of your staff working overtime too, haven't you?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Every
Tell
day
them.
and every weekend.
Right. Thank you.
So one thing I'll say, since you've said it, we had to have debris monitors follow our debris contractor to validate what they were doing. And I can tell you, for what we're paying in overtime, is about 200% cheaper than if we had to contract it out.
Yes.
And I just want to thank Brian again for volunteering his people and their willingness to help with the debris cleanup. So,
Hey, you're only as good as your help. So.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Tell your
Seriously.
staff thanks.
Yeah, you guys have been challenged significantly ever since the beginning of June, and y'all are doing a heck of a job. Thank you.
And we got spring cleanup coming.
We do. Hey, wait. Can I ask you a question, Brian? Sorry, don't go too far.
Yes.
A lot of people are asking me lately, are we still doing spring cleanup? Is it still going to be around the same time? What are our plans with that?
The consensus is, yes, we're going to do it, and we will do it pretty much normal. So I'm thinking probably the last week of March. We'll do that first half like we've done, and then we'll, on the April month, I don't know if we're going to do the week before Tri-Fest or the week after Tri-Fest. We don't want to do it the week of, because that takes away too much of my help to have to set up that. So
I
either
might
one.
also recommend that when you're looking at the calendar, try to avoid spring break.
When is spring
That's the
break?
second full week of April.
Okay.
Because there's going to be a lot of families who are gone who might have missed their window to put stuff out. You know
So
what
that
I'm saying?
we may have to do the end of April then.
Yeah.
That'll run into the first few days of May.
Gotcha.
But that may be
Brian-
what we do this year.
I got a quick question. When was the ice storm? 2009, 2011?
9.
2009 was ice storm.
Did we have this much trees down then? Because I don't remember it
we
that
had
bad.
we had more, which at the time I was overseeing sanitation, so I wasn't involved in so much as the tree pickup. But I think it was more county-wide, and it was larger trees. There were a lot more big trees that were down.
But in the city, I was saying, how do we didn't have a group come in and do that for
Yes,
free, did we?
they did.
They did?
Buzzy,
The state actually took over the '09 storm event, and we did not have to manage any of it.
Okay.
right, they had people that went with the crews, and I think some of the public works employees helped assist on parts of it. I think we took dumpsters out, roll-off dumpsters, and we did some assisting, but nothing like we're doing now.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Yep.
And the other comment is HWU has been instrumental in managing the debris at their North Wastewater Treatment Plant. Had they not done that, most of this debris would have had been shipped to Davis County at a extremely high cost.
Yep. So they have a large pile of debris down there right now.
Thanks for everything.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Thanks, Brian.
Anything else on the city manager's report?
No, sir.
Do we have any city attorney report or need for executive session or any of that?
We do have need for executive session.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for executive session, please.
I move the commission go into executive session pursuant to KR 61.810, paragraph 1, subsection B, for the purpose of discussion that may lead to the sale of real property located in the vicinity of Barrett Boulevard and US 60 East.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, and we'll be staying in this room for our executive session. Thank you.